the solid foundation of your nutrition towards growing your glutes, towards that goal of that peachy butt. Hello, welcome back to episode 2, is it? Episode 2? I think it's episode 2 of my glute series that I'm doing on my channel. So for this video, I did actually ask on Instagram if people wanted me to go over training variables in more detail, which I was not really keen on doing because I feel like I did kind of cover most things in episode 1, or if people wanted me to go over the nutrition behind growing your glutes. And about 85% of you said that you wanted me to go over nutrition, so that is what I'm doing today. Quick disclaimer, I am not a qualified nutritionist, I am not a qualified dietitian. Fun fact, if you are from the UK, I don't know about other countries, nutritionist is not a protected term like a dietitian is. Anyone can call themselves a nutritionist, so if you do come across anyone on social media who is claiming to be a nutritionist, ask them what their qualifications are, because I would put money 80% of people that have got it in their bios have actually got nothing to suggest that they are a qualified nutritionist. Yeah, if you need explicit individual nutritional advice, seek help from a registered dietitian, not someone on Instagram who's got nutritionist in the bio. Another thing I just want to say before I get into this video, because I know that's what you're all here for, but I am going to leave in the description box a link which basically will take you to a page full of places that you can donate to, petitions you can sign, and some educational resources about what has been going on in Lebanon, what is currently going on in Lebanon. I will hold my hands up and admit, until about 3 days ago when the awful explosion happened, I actually had no idea what was going on over there. So yeah, I am going to leave links in the description box. Please donate if you are in the position to do so, sign petitions if you are in the position to do so, and also just generally educate yourself on this. It's really important. I know that the majority of you are from the UK or the US and it feels like a long way away from home, but people's lives have literally been destroyed, ripped from underneath them. People have lost loved ones, so yeah, please help in any way possible that you can. So onto the video. I'm going to be talking all about the nutritional advice, the nutritional tips, things you need to know if you are seriously looking to grow your glutes. Now, it goes without saying, well, I think it goes without saying, you're going to need the training and the nutrition. You can't just do the nutrition and not the training and expect to grow a muscle. So I just want to start with a quick background on energy balance. I feel like everyone and their nan knows about energy balance now. If you don't know, energy in, energy out. So if your expenditure is higher than your input, or your input is lower than your expenditure, same thing, you are in a calorie deficit, and this is where you want to be if you are looking to lose weight. If your expenditure and your input are equal, then you are at calorie maintenance, and this is where people tend to be if they are happy with their physique, they just want to maintain it. Or people do tend to go to maintenance calories if they are looking to do a recomposition, which I will go on to in more detail very shortly. And lastly, if your expenditure is lower than your input, or your input is higher than your expenditure, again interchangeable, same thing really, then you are going to be in a calorie surplus and you are going to gain weight. Now the question is, where do you want to sit in this energy balance if you are looking to grow your glutes? And oh my god, I feel like this is such a controversial topic. Not really a controversial topic, but just one where people have such different opinions, and I just feel like people really butt heads when it comes to this. So can you grow your glutes in a deficit? The answer is yes, you can. Would I recommend it to anyone? Absolutely not. If a client comes to me and their main goal is to grow their glutes, why would I put them in a calorie deficit? They don't want to lose any weight, they want to grow their glutes. I'm not going to put them in a calorie deficit. Now, if you are completely new to training, you have fat to lose, and you want to build your glutes at the same time, it's entirely possible to go into that calorie deficit to lose the weight that you want to lose and build some muscle at the same time, because when you're brand new to training, you could honestly be following the worst program in the world, you're still going to be building muscle because you are doing something, you are putting a stimulus on your muscles that's never been put on it before. You are going to make some progress and you are going to build some muscle. Even being in a deficit, if you are brand new to training. But yeah, if you are seriously looking to grow your glutes, I do not recommend trying to do it in a calorie deficit. I'm not saying it can't be done, I'm just saying I think it's very, very suboptimal. But moving on to calorie maintenance, which is energy in, energy out, the two are equal. Now this is where people sit, like I said, if they are happy with where they're at and they literally just want to maintain what they've got. Or some people, and a lot of Brett Contreras' clients, if you have read his Glute Lab book, you will know the majority of his clients eat at calorie maintenance. They don't do bulking and cutting. They literally eat at maintenance year round, and they manage to build muscle. This is something that I recommend to people who are happy with their body weight. They don't want to particularly gain weight and they don't want to lose weight either. They're happy with where they are. They just want to build a little bit of muscle and improve their body composition. This is something that I recommend to those people. And the caveat to this is that you must train like an absolute beast. When it comes to building muscle anyway, you need to be training hard, you need to be pushing yourself, you need to be giving your muscles a reason to grow, a reason to adapt. So if you are trying to recomp at maintenance calories, you really need to make sure that your training intensity is there and that you are giving your muscles a reason to grow. In the process, you will gain lean muscle and lose a little bit of body fat. Now, finally moving on to being in a calorie surplus, aka bulking. There's two ways that people tend to go about this, and that is either to go balls to the wall, cram in a load of calories, end up putting on a lot of unnecessary body fat, or to go with a more moderate road. And this road on the left hand side here, or is it the right when it's on the screen, I don't know, that is the road I recommend people go down. Going down this road, you're going to have to spend a lot longer cutting body fat. You're probably going to find it a lot more difficult because you've put on a significant amount of body fat, whereas if you go with a more moderate surplus, you're going to minimize that. Yes, you are in a surplus, you are going to gain some body fat, but you will be able to minimize it if you take a more moderate approach when it comes to a calorie surplus, and I highly recommend you do that. I have been there, I have done that with the insane amount of calories. It's not worth it. But for these people who want to go down the surplus road, I recommend that you take a 200 to 500 calorie surplus above maintenance. Now, when it comes to working out your calories, how do I know what my maintenance is? The most accurate way to know is to track everything you eat for a week, see what your weight does. If it maintains, they are your maintenance calories. That is the most accurate way of doing it. There are calculations you can do, there are online calculators, there's this, there's that, but at the end of the day, it's just that, it's a calculation, and it's never going to be precise. For some people it might be bang on straight away, but I know for me, when I try to put in surplus calories, it comes up with a lot lower than what I actually need if I want to gain weight, because my body is just on crack apparently. I just find it really difficult to gain weight. So I highly recommend just going with tracking your food for a week. If you maintain your weight, that's your maintenance. Maybe start off with adding 200 calories on top of that to start with, and see how you go and build your weight up from there. And Brad Schoenfield, I literally say that name wrong every single time, I'm so sorry. He's never going to watch this video, but I just feel bad pronouncing names wrong. But basically, this is the side of the fence that he sits on. He is the king of hypertrophy. Anything you want to know about hypertrophy, this man knows it, and he says a positive energy balance, aka a surplus, is necessary to maximise, to be optimally maximising your hypertrophy from resistance training sessions. Now, what he means by maximise is you are getting the most out of it. That's not saying you can't build muscle in a deficit, you can't build muscle at maintenance. He's just talking about what is going to be optimal. So to summarize that very quickly, if you are looking to grow your glutes, eat at least maintenance calories. I always recommend, if you are really wanting to grow your glutes, just go ahead and go into a surplus. 200 to 500 calories above maintenance. That is what I recommend that you do if you are serious about growing your glutes. So moving on to the macros, how much protein do you need to be eating in a day? The suggested amount to maximize, again, your hypertrophy, your glute growth, is 1.6 grams to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. When it comes to the sources that you are getting this protein from, if you are a meat eater, you really don't need to worry about this too much, because the chances are you are going to be getting in all your essential amino acids from meat sources. If you are a vegan or you follow a more plant-based diet, you're going to want to make sure that you are eating a wider range of protein sources to make sure that you are covering all the bases and getting in all your essential amino acids. This is particularly important if you are supplementing with a protein powder. When it comes to a plant-based protein, there are things like soy isolate and ones where it's basically one source of protein. I personally would recommend that you go for one that's got multiple sources of plant protein in it. That's what I do. I use the Protein Works one at the moment. The Ghost one has multiple sources of protein in it. There are plenty of protein powders on the market now, to be fair, that are plant-based, vegan, and they have multiple sources of plant protein in. They're fairly easy to find, but just make sure that you check the ingredients when you are shopping if you are going to be supplementing with protein powder. When it comes to carb intake, Brad Schoenfield, again, I've probably just butchered his name again, he recommends that you eat 3 grams per kilogram of body weight to make sure that your glycogen stores are fully stocked, fully replenished, ready to go. Obviously your carb intake is also going to probably improve your performance in the gym. It is your body's main source of energy. Carbs are not the devil, and eating those carbs is going to make your glutes look fuller because, like Brad says, it's keeping your glycogen stores fully stocked. So girls, do not shy away from carbs if you are looking to grow your glutes. It's going to give you energy for your sessions. It's going to make you look better. It's most likely going to make you feel better. I know that some people do seem to get on better with a higher fat intake than a carb intake, but for the majority of people that I have worked with, they do better with a higher carb intake. So now you have decided your intake. You've decided if you want to go maintenance, you've decided if you want to go surplus, you have decided how many calories you're going to be in a day. You've worked that out. You've worked out your protein intake, you've worked out your carb intake. For the rest of your calories, make that up from fats. Everything I've just spoken about is going to form the basis, the solid foundation of your nutrition towards growing your glutes, towards that goal of that peachy butt. I'm going to pop a little triangle on the screen, which I believe was created by a man called Eric Helms, which is basically like a pyramid that you should be following for your nutrition. So obviously it's going to have your calories and stuff on the bottom, macros, and then towards the top you've got things like your timing, the timing of your meals, the timing of your protein intake and supplements. So I'm really quickly now just going to go over a little bit about muscle protein synthesis. I cannot say that word to save my actual life. And meal timing, protein timing, intake, stuff like that. So protein synthesis is the process of building new protein, and therefore obviously you can probably tell that muscle protein synthesis and therefore you can probably tell that muscle protein synthesis, thank you, is the process of building new, specifically muscle proteins. And we know that muscle protein synthesis is predictive for hypertrophy, and this is another reason why I really don't recommend being in a negative energy balance, aka a calorie deficit, if you're serious about growing your glutes, because we know from the research, we know from studies that being in a negative energy balance actually decreases your muscle protein synthesis. So that's why, honestly, the main takeaway from this is eat maintenance or above. And you can optimize your muscle protein synthesis via your nutrition, and how you are going to do this is 0.4 to 0.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per meal, spread across the day over about 4 to 5 meals, is going to make sure that you are optimizing your muscle protein synthesis. As you will have noted in the pyramid that I put on the screen, Eric Helms' pyramid to do with nutrition, this and your supplements tend to come at the top of the pyramid. So especially if you're a beginner, I would honestly just focus on getting the bottom section of the pyramid sorted out first and then worrying about the top things. Let's not run before we can walk. But I wanted to make this video useful for everyone, and for my girlies who are a little bit more advanced, who might not know about like protein timings, muscle protein synthesis. I wanted to give you something to learn as well. Supplements are right at the top, and they are just that. They are a supplement to your diet. You do not need them. The only things I ever recommend are protein powder if and only if you do not get enough protein from your dietary intake throughout the day. That's all it should be treated as, a protein topper upper. It shouldn't be seen as like the holy mecca, the holy grail of muscle growth, hypertrophy, gains. I know that everyone seems to drink protein shakes, but honestly that is probably just because they have a higher protein target and they probably wouldn't hit it if they didn't take the shake. The second supplement and the final supplement that is literally the only thing I ever recommend if someone comes to me and asks me about supplements is creatine. It's one of the most researched supplements out there. It's pretty bulletproof. I do get a lot of girls asking me about, will it make me bloated? I've been taking creatine for about 1.5 years now. Never experienced bloating. The water that it draws in, it draws it into the cell. It's intramuscle swelling, so it's not going to make you look bloated. If anything, it's just going to make your muscles look fuller. So ladies, don't be afraid of taking creatine because of that. And basically what creatine does is it helps with your performance in the gym. It helps with your strength. There are multiple other cited benefits from the research, which I will leave a link to an article all about that in the description box. Examine.com. If you are researching a supplement or an influencer has recommended one, type it in on there. It will come up with the amount of research that's been done on it, the evidence behind the claims that supplement brands put forward, so how much research has actually been done on that claim and what does the research actually suggest. Spoiler alert, go on there and type in branched chain amino acids and you'll probably be annoyed if you've been spending money on them over the past few years. Just saying. Yeah, I am going to leave that video there because I think I've got about 40 minutes of footage now to edit, so I love that for me. But yeah, I hope you found this video useful. I wanted to make sure with this video that beginners are going to learn something, but also my more advanced people are also going to learn something too, so I hope you can take something, maybe one thing, away from this video. If you have any questions on anything I've spoken about, leave it down below. Message me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram if you're not already, because that's where I post workouts more often. I'm very, very active on there. If you ever DM me a question, you will get a response. You are literally guaranteed a response. I reply to every single person on there, so do drop me a message on there if you've got any questions. Let me know what other videos you would find useful to see in this series. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are new here. And yeah, I'm gonna go because my voice box hurts. Thank you for watching.